Thank you. I'm locked out of my locker at the town pool. I'm wearing a wet bathing suit, goggles, and SpongeBob flip-flops I stole from the Lost and Found. When the fire engine pulls up, all the kids at the town pool rush over to the fence. They think there's a fire. But the fireman doesn't have a hose. He has a lock-cutting apparatus that looks like a giant hedge clippers. He is a nice fireman. He doesn't look at me funny because he is wearing a firefighting uniform and I am wearing Lost and Found flip-flops. He is a fireman of few words. "You're from the city," he says. It's not a question. He just knows. And then, "You know, you don't have to lock here." We are living in another family's house. It comes with their driveway, their yard, their furniture, their DVDs, their Xbox, and their town pool. We're here courtesy of Craigslist, summer rentals. Keyword, central air conditioning. One summer earlier, Brooklyn. We are not enjoying ourselves. We are not having the summer of love. We are having the summer of Sam, named in honor of our latest neighbor, Sam, who's renting a room in the townhouse attached to ours. Sam takes his crazy pill every night at 2 a.m. He spends the subsequent hours screaming very bad words at his girlfriend. One night, our kids wake up crying when the domestic violence unit shows up. Don't worry, they tell us. It turns out that his girlfriend is actually just a computer monitor. Until he can be evicted, they have a potential solution. We should close our windows. We have another potential solution, suburbia. Seemed like a good idea at the time. 6 summers earlier, Megan and I have just moved to Brooklyn. We find our dream home, a cozy brick townhouse in a gentrifying neighborhood of Brooklyn. Gentrifying. Meaning the ratio of bail bond offices to organic free-range ice cream shops is still about 3-to-1. But the important thing is, the ice cream is to die for. Our only dependent is a dog, and everyone we meet is incredibly friendly and interesting and a freelance graphic designer. The last thing left to gentrify. The one thing left to gentrify in our neighborhood is our neighborhood school. The Department of Education has released something called school report cards. Our neighborhood school does not exactly pass with flying colors. This is what we tell ourselves. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. After all, this is the city, and we are part of something special. Here, our kids have museums and theater and artisanal cruelty-free pizza and single-press vacuum-brewed multiracial espresso. And what else? Walking. It's good for them to be able to walk everywhere because walking builds up their leg muscles, especially when they break into a wild sprint down Atlantic Avenue like ours do, barely escaping their daily hit and run by the kamikaze driver of Bus 63 to Park Slope. Which probably wouldn't be such a bad thing anyway, because the only way children learn is from firsthand experience, so getting hit by a bus will be an important part of their education. A teaching moment. Yes, getting hit by a bus in Brooklyn will make our kids street smart, not just book smart, we tell ourselves. And that, we tell ourselves, is going to give them a huge advantage over all those sheltered, shallow children from the suburbs. Could be worse. Megan and I are in the centrally air-conditioned family room of our summer rental in Westchester. We're watching our 8-year-old out the window, transfixed. He's been in that tree for like 12 straight minutes. He climbed it yesterday, too, and the day before that. Sometimes the kid across the street comes over and they climb it together. They just sit in it. They just sit in the tree. They don't even try to push each other off. This is not how recreation is conducted back in Brooklyn, I recall. In Brooklyn, there is a compelling argument for population control known as Carroll Park. Carroll Park is the kind of full occupancy destination that's all fun and games until your children are trampled to death. One day I remember telling my kids, that's it, no more playing in the playground part of Carroll Park. So we check out the rest of the park. We find a quiet garden. It has some trees and a big rock. Leo climbs one of the trees. He's happy up there. He's content. Next thing I know, he's in tears. An old lady with a mustache and an apron that says Carroll Park Greening Committee is yelling at him to get down. I tell her relax, and she starts yelling at me. Your children are not supposed to be climbing trees, she says. Sometimes when Megan and I watch our kids from our family room window today, I think about that old hag. Your children are not supposed to be climbing trees. If I knew then what I know now, this is what I would have said. Yes, they are.